Hi everyone, welcome back to the second part of my incredible conversation with Kane Mousah. In this episode, we talk about the harsh realities of being in jail, how Kane navigated through that, and how when he left prison, he completely turned his life around. It's an incredible, honest, gripping, authentic conversation, and I'm so excited to share it with you all.
I got arrested. I got caught with the firearm in a car.
It's literally you're driving, you got pulled over.
We went. There was an arrangement to go and meet a geezer, and there was a firearm found in the car. So we were under operation. I wasn't aware of it.
So you were under surveillance.
I was hot cakes at them times. Yeah. I was like known by the police as the ringleader one of the ringleaders for my area for Fallowfield, and they had me under operation, and that was where. After that situation in my head, I was kind of ready to step away and focus on my career anyway.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy how it happened because I was ready. After that situation, I was like, right, that's me.
It's done now.
I've done what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I was, I was like, yep, my people know I'm loyal.
Yeah.
I was doing whatever I was doing to support my people regardless of what, and I was going to go and focus on my career. And I got arrested.
I mean, it's crazy how the universe works. I mean, because literally then your whole life gets flipped upside down, back to front.
I mean, back to front, left side, right, up and down, and all around.
What was going through your mind? But did you just think to yourself, it's not going to happen, I'm not going to go to jail, I'm going to get through this? Or
yeah, so next thing you know, I'm in a police cell.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I ain't going jail. Kane Mousah ain't going prison. He's not going jail. I'm not going prison.
Yeah.
Yo, officer. Yeah. When am I getting out? Chill out, mate. Chill out. We'll let you know. Yeah. Chilling, thinking I'm getting out. Next thing you know, they come to the door and they go, Kane, you are going to prison on remand. You're being remanded. You've not got no bail. I'm like, what?
What?
Next thing you know, boom, I'm in a police cell with a Chinese man called Jung or Jan. Jan, I think his name was, or Jan or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sat in a cell with a guy who's smoking roll-up tobaccos, and it was 3 days after my pro fight, and I'm sat in a cell, and I'm thinking, then there's a thing called Judge and Chambers. So I'm thinking, I'm getting my JC. I'm getting out of here. A month or and a half later, boom, you ain't getting your JC, you're not getting your judgment, you're going to trial.
Straight to trial.
Straight to trial. So then I did 9 months remand, went to trial, got guilty. I'm big on signs and that the Lord is going to put signals in to let me know what's going on in my life. And
did you know you were going down?
Nah, the maddest thing was I had a co-defendant who was in the back of the car, and his story was, we didn't know what was going on. We're in the back of the car. We're in the sweatbox on the way to the court, and Black Eyed Peas come on. It was a Friday, and Black Eyed Peas come on, and Black Eyed Peas the song was, tonight's gonna be a good night. I'm saying, can you hear that? To my co-Ds, I'm saying, can you hear it? It's a sign.
Yeah.
Getting caught, they go like that. There was 4 of us on the charge. You had one guy here, me, my other co-defendant. How do you find Mr. I'm not going to say his name, but how do you find
Defendant
this defendant A, who was in the back of the car with me?
Yeah.
Not guilty. So I'm like, yes, I knew it. I'm going home. I'm out. Next thing you know, how do you find Mr. Mousah? Guilty. I said, oh. That's where my legs went. I said, what? I said to me, Cody, I said, what did he say, bro? He said, get off me. I got to listen to mine. I said, bro, you're more in it than me.
Yeah.
What are you on about? In my head, I'm thinking, if I'm finished, you're finished. Do you get what I'm saying? And they give us all guilty.
So they let the other one off?
Let him off because he had no phone calls on the day. So his story was that I didn't know what was going on. I'd seen these guys and jumped in and, I'm buzzing for him. He got off with it, and that's and if but I was just wounded that I got it. So next thing you know, now 9 months after that pro fight, now I'm now in strange ways sat on a wing, knowing that I'm awaiting sentencing. And because we
Did you
ran
have an
trial,
idea how long it was going to be?
I knew I was going to get from anywhere from a 10 to an 8.
Wow.
And then, I went to court and they give me, the judge gave me 9 years.
That's near enough the maximum, isn't it?
That you could get for possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. Yeah, that was the maximum that you could get.
How did you feel when that happened?
I was devastated. Because the reality kicked in. Like, it's tough because that was a point where my belief system was then challenged. You get me? It was challenged, and I had to kind of be like, fuck.
I thought I was always going to be looked after. I thought things were always going to be okay.
I thought I was cool, regardless of what road something throws, I'm going to be good because this path I'm on now is the one that's going to get me to where I always knew that I should be. And then next thing you know, boom, it's not happening. It's not happening. I got 9 years. I had a girlfriend at the time, and I remember just being in the cell and just looking at her. I just started crying, man. Got tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't tears because I was scared of being in jail, because not one man through my whole sentence could affect my mental, physically or mentally.
Yeah.
Through my whole sentence, from the beginning to the end. Not one man was able to challenge me. Not one man was able to have anything mentally over me. I run every wing I was on. I was the top boy with all the top boys on every wing. So it was nothing to do with jail or the people. It was to do with my family and my career and what I'd actually lost.
What you lost, yeah.
So it took me time.
Is it hard for you, because you are a tough guy?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you've got an image or a rep to protect.
Yeah.
I know you're way beyond that in your life.
Yeah.
But it must be still hard because you've had to be tough and not really talk about your emotions, right? So is it quite hard for you to be honest and talk about that?
For me now.
Yeah.
Nah, for me, I understand my position at this present moment. I'm in a position where I'm looked at by a lot of men.
Yeah.
A lot of younger men, a lot of older men for inspiration. And I understand that. And there's guys out there with bigger followings than me and all this type of stuff, but they've not... I've got my own unique story that I bring to the table and my own unique path, which is very powerful, and I'm aware of that. So I understand my position.
Yeah.
And that's why me being honest and open, for me, it's easy.
Yeah.
Because I understand how many people it might impact
Yeah.
and how many people it can kind of create awareness that it's okay to be in tune with your emotions. It's okay.
Very important.
It's very important. It's okay to be open with people that you trust and you love, because at the end of the day, they won't judge you.
Yeah.
They'll understand you more.
Yeah.
They're not going to judge. They're actually going to understand you more. So then when you're acting a certain way or you're feeling a certain way, these people can support you, and the support network is very vital.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. And it's kind of, I'm kind of wanting to let men, younger generation, younger kids understand that it's all right to be open. It's all right to let people know how you feel or how you felt at certain times. And for me, when I was in jail, if you would have come up against me on a physical or an intimidation thing, you would have got hit with ferocity, where you would never have thought there was any form of emotion that would have ran through this guy except for...
Yeah, because your survival instinct is optimum. Because you have to watch your back forever.
Optimum. Yeah. My survival instinct was always optimum, especially in prison. And
you couldn't relax, right?
Nah, well, I only relaxed when I understood that. What is about prison is this.
Yeah.
When you go on a wing, you're around and stepping into an unknown environment that is filled with alpha males, some different levels of alpha and strength and ability and conniving and vicious and aggressive and all of this. And it takes time for you to assert yourself in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Every time I went onto a wing, I would always be observant and I'd always let my presence be felt, but I wouldn't overdo my presence being felt. I'd always be respectful, but at the same time hold myself in the right way where people know this guy's a serious kid, but he doesn't think he's better or badder than everyone, all of us. And then over time, I'd understand who was what on the wing and what position, and then I would slowly, step by step, let my presence be known, let my personality be known, let my character be known, and all this. And before you know it, the wings unlock. That's how we would call it, the wings unlock. So from once the wings unlock, you can be calm because you've locked down the situation then. Do you get what I'm saying, Tia?
Why would they move you from wing to wing?
Well, it was from prison to prison.
Why did they move you from prison to prison?
So I went Forest Bank originally.
Yeah.
And then from Forest Bank, was on remand. Then from Forest Bank, I went to Strange Ways.
Yeah.
Then from Strange Ways, I did the majority of my sentence, a good stint of my sentence there. Then I applied to go to Loudon Grange, which is a Category B prison. That was a privately run prison.
So that's a reduced category.
That's a reduced category. But the only reason I got to that, I was on a B cat prison, but it's got an A cat unit in Strange Ways.
Yeah.
So it's classed as a cat as well, but it was I was on the B cat part of it, but I went to another B cat prison. And what happened there was I was able to once again identify who runs what and then build a relationship with certain people. So there was an SO who was allocations officer.
Right.
And he would never really come on the wing, but I'd see him always in the circle that attached links onto all the wings.
Right.
And I'd always see him walking past. And he'd come on once in a blue moon, but every time he came on, I'd always make sure he knew it was, hi, Gov, you okay? Yeah, Kane Mousah, da-da-da-da. Built a little bit of a relationship with him. And then when people were telling me about this Loudon Grange, which was a prison that had a phone in your cell, Xbox 360, you can order your food on a computer at the end of the wing. You can have like family visits where everyone can chill. I was like, I need to get here now because I got sentenced and I was always chasing my DCAT, even though they told me I could never get my DCAT.
Yeah. So DCAT would give you those same rights?
No, DCAT gives you going home on a weekend rights, working out. Wow. So you've got Category A, which is for your lifers, your killers, your terrorists. And then you've got BCAT, which is your robbers, your armed robbers, and then obviously people who are coming through the ACAT system will drop into B. Yeah. Then you've got CCAT, which is your burglars, your maybe your robbers, corporate lower class
fraud,
robbers.
All that kind of stuff,
well, fraud unless it's high level, fraud will go to DCAT prison, the majority of them. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up making this sick relationship, a decent relationship with this SO, and then one day I've gone to him, I said, Gov, he's like, go on, Mousah, what's happening? I said, Gov, I need to get to Loudon Grange. I said, I can't progress in here. I need to progress. I need to be in somewhere where I can elevate because, my career, and I'm just playing on him. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? But I'm being honest as well.
But that's the truth.
No, but it's the truth, but I'm letting him know.
Yeah.
You get me? I'm like, my career means so much to me. Yeah. And it did, and it was all truth, but you have to...
Play the game.
Play the game. So I'm playing the game with him, being respectful with him, but letting him know that I can't progress. I need to get reintroduced back into society, and I need to be elevated. So this guy then gave me the pass away to go to Loudon Grange.
I mean, that's pretty unbelievable again, isn't it? The tag thing, you get to America. The SO didn't need to do that for you, he did it.
SO didn't need to do it. Next thing I got me and my Cody, and he knows. Yeah. Me and my Cody, I got me and him on the bus to Loudon. We're buzzing on the bus to Loudon.
So this is 2.5 years into the sentence.
This is like this is halfway through the sentence basically. This is 2 year, probably about 18, 19 months into the sentence. Anyway, I land in Loudon. Yeah. And I'm in this prison, and once again now this is where you can't settle, you can't really ease because you're coming into a new jail. Yeah. There's people from all around the country. There's man from London, Birmingham, Nottingham, Leeds, Manchester, everywhere. So it's a bigger crowd now because when you're in Manchester, you really and truly only have to deal with people who know you from the city. Now you're going into uncharted territory where people don't know who you are really. Yeah. So we're back at the bottom of the food chain, and then we've got to build our way up once again. So we moved on to location, onto D Wing, and landed on there. There was a lot of man on there from Birmingham. There was a lot of man on there from London, Peckham, Brixton, Hackney. There was a load of guys on there, couple other areas. And it was a deep wing, man. It was a deep wing with a lot of killers on there, a lot of dangerous man on there. And we went on there, played it calm, kept it cool. And then after a bit, man them knew who he was, started speaking to people. People know people of peoples, know that we're certified. They verify who you are from rare. People might have other people in other jails, or they might have phones on the wing like, yo, that Kane Mousah and Rare's in here, you know, do you know my man? And it's like, yeah, right, my man's proper, my man's, oh, sweet, yo, come out, yeah, bro, I just spoke to my man. Yeah, put anything you need, Rare, before you know it, I'm on a wing where there was only 4 Mancs, and then within 6 months, there's over 20 Mancs on the wing because we set pace on that wing where we had man on there respecting us. And then when people were landing on induction wing, we'd be like, yo, come over here. And before you know it, there's like 20 Mancs on the wing. So the wing was a Manchester wing, Birmingham man, but we were all civil with each other. And it was a good place. And in that prison, that's when I got my DCAT because I was a category B prisoner. And then I ended up working my way around building relationships with them officers in there to just be respectful. I was just respectful. Yes, go on.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, you're in prison, you can get pulled into all sorts of things, and you didn't, right?
Well, there were situations where I would know how to maneuver so that I didn't get pulled in or my name didn't get pulled in. And I realised that sometimes in prison or in these situations, you still have to do things to kind of let people know what time it is. So there were certain situations where I had to assert myself in certain situations, but I would do it in a way where I wouldn't get in trouble and it wasn't really doing any harm to nobody. I was just kind of like letting people know, don't mess with me. Do you understand? And you have to do that to keep yourself at the top of the food chain. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think my point is that you didn't get sucked into more criminality. You didn't get sucked into this is my life then.
Oh, no.
Your whole thing was, I'm here, I can't do anything about it, but I've got to try and get it over as soon as possible by doing everything I can because I want to go forward with my life. I don't want to live my life like this.
Well, what happened was, when I got arrested initially, I was like, whoa, this has took me back a little bit. I was kind of struggling. I was thinking, then when I got into prison, I'm not going to lie, the culture of being in jail and the boys and this and that, and it was getting a bit like, yeah, I'm the boy, I'm back, I'm active, I'm rare, what. But I had a conversation where my mentality was, I'm still going to chase my career rare, but I might still dabble in 1s and 2s.
Yeah. It's your life.
It's my lifestyle.
It's been what you've known forever.
I was raw as you come.
You were just a kid as well.
I was young. I was raw as you come.
Yeah.
And what happened was, I had a conversation with a scouser who come in on a big conspiracy to supply.
Yeah.
And he basically made me aware. He just hit a light bulb in my head. Ping.
What did he say?
And he said, lad, you're a good kid. He knew me. Yeah, my scouse accent's all right.
Oh, that was quite good actually.
He said, lad, you're a good kid. He said, you need to go out and chase your career. He said, but what I'm telling you, the game is done, mate. Yeah, and this was back in 2011, he's saying this to me.
Wow.
He was saying this to me, 2011, 2012, 11, 12.
Yeah, that's
like, the game's done. He said, listen, I'm 51. I've had my house taken from me. I've had my business taken from me. I've never been caught. in. He said, one person in his team made a mistake, and that was it for him. So from when he was highly respected, when he came in the jail, everyone was talking about him. Me and him did some grappling because he was from another scouts gym. We did some grappling. And when he said that to me, I just thought, it's done. It's done, bro. Like, allow it, leave it, forget it. Because you're not going to come out and be this super big kingpin that's going to be...
Because you're going to end back up in here.
Well, you're going to be finished.
That's your future playing out.
Yeah, well, exactly. I visioned it. I visioned me getting out, being a kingpin, getting drugs coming from here, there, and everywhere. And then I said, you know what? No. It's over. It's done. Yeah, and that's when the transition, I think I was 25 at this point. So about 24, 25.
Yeah, about 3 years in.
Yeah, about 2.5, 2 years in.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came and said, one of my mates came and said, look, we're doing Kane, they're doing DCATs. So I went and did loads of courses, got on all these victim awareness, stress management, conflict management. I went and did all these courses, but what I didn't realise is they were actually helping me. Yeah. I was doing them to get into DCAT.
Yeah.
But when I started doing them, I started to understand, and it made me realise about what happens in certain crimes when there's victims and the victims of your crime, and it made me a bit more conscious of my actions and what would happen with my actions. So that also affected me. And then I went into DCAT, and then when I went into the DCAT, I kind of wanted to elevate quickly. Right. And someone told me that there was a level 3 guy, a prison officer who was doing level 3 qualifications. So I was like, okay, sweet, jumped on these qualifications with this guy.
Yeah.
So I got the blip in Strange Ways to get to Loudon. I got the blip in Loudon because there wasn't giving DCATs out. It was a legislation that was passed because the prisons were getting too overrun.
Crowded, yeah.
Yeah, so they dropped. You were able to jump from a B to a D. Usually you have to go B, C to D.
Yeah.
I jumped from B to D because I did all the courses. Now I'm in a
Wow.
DCAT and I'm going home now.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going home. And then...
Was it weird being out?
It was weird, yeah.
Must be, because you're still in a bubble, aren't you, in prison?
Of course.
You're in a bubble, so, and then you go out to the real world. But did it make you want to live more?
It made me want to live more, and it made me be grateful.
Yeah.
And, you know, every time, that's another thing, my experiences, it's why life experiences are so vital and so important, because the experiences that I went through still impact my decision-making to this day. So in that respect, if we're saying, what do you mean? It's like when I wake up and it's been a tough week or it's been a tough day or I'm not feeling, or I might have been in the gym and I'm not sparring, or my business isn't going right because something's not right within the business and my progression feels like it's becoming a bit stagnant.
Yeah.
Instead of beating myself up or getting down about it, I say, well, bro, you could be back on the wing.
Yeah.
And there is no more stagnant. There is no more stagnant. There is no more... not going anywhere.
But your life's totally wasting, isn't it?
Yeah, you're wasting away in there. So for me, I've got friends that are still in there. I've got friends that are doing life. I've got friends that are doing... Yeah, I've got a few friends that are doing life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always reflect on their situation sometimes to kind of reiterate to myself that, bro...
That could have been me,
That could have been you. Get up, dust yourself off, slap yourself in the mirror, get in a cold shower, and get your nervous system firing up and go back and attack the day. And
you have, right? And so now you're back heavily fighting. You're doing amazing things.
Yep.
So what was it like coming back and then getting... I mean, you must have been pretty fit in jail anyway, but what was it like coming back and then was it difficult to get another pro fight?
No, it was easy because Brendan at the time was already in with Adam Tay, which he was running FCC, and I went there on a home leave.
Yeah.
And I've already told this, I've said it before. That was I went on a home leave to watch that show, and the game had changed. Before I went jail, it was all leisure centres, and now it was in Macron Stadium, Arena. It was little stadium arena bit, and it was massive in there, and it was glitzy and everything. I said to Brendan, yo, get me on this show. So we spoke to the promoter, and he said, listen, we've got a date for you. But the date was on a home leave 3 days before I was released from prison.
Oh, wow.
So remember, I got locked up.
Yeah.
3 days after my pro fight.
Crazy. And then you get it 3 days.
I get my third pro fight 3 days before I was released from prison, and I was on a home leave.
Wow.
So I went, did the fight on the Saturday, won the fight, did the whole camp whilst I was training out at Rough House and at Pure Gym, because I got my level 2 and 3 qualification whilst I was in prison.
Yeah.
And I was doing training for the fight, and then I had the fight on the weekend, come back into the jail, seeing all the boys in the jail, snuck my phone in, showing them all the fight on the phone. Everyone's like buzzing off that. And then I went home on the Monday.
Wow.
And I'd come back home and I'd had my fight and I'd won my fight and I'm back. And not only was I back, I had a job at Pure Gym, so I was a PT at Pure Gym.
Wow.
So I didn't come home. I didn't go back to Manchester for 18 months.
Right.
So then I got
Was that important for you?
Very, very important. That was a monumental decision for myself. And sometimes I felt like I made decisions off the cuff, not actually believing that I was going to stick with the decision, but then sticking with it. And then the transition was like, yo, you really are a PT. And then Pure Gym, Joanna Brogan, shout out to Joanna, she made me realise that I could be a manager, and said, I know you come out of prison and everything, but we had a manager called Fiona who put me in the position.
Wow.
And Joanna Brogan come to me and said, we need to sack Fiona. So they came in and sacked her. And as they were leaving, all the other PTs were like having a hissy fit about it. And I just come to the regionals and said, listen, don't worry about everybody else. I was only a PT. I said, I'll deal with the team. I'll make sure everyone's all right. So then I got a message then after it and said, hi, Kane, it's Joanna Brogan. Just wanted a meeting and sit down with you to run a few things by you. So she came back to the gym a couple of days later, and she's like, how would you like to be the assistant manager at Pure Gym?
Wow.
I was like, yeah, she's like, I believe you've got what it takes to lead people. I believe you've got leadership skills. And I was like, yeah. And next thing you know, I'm on the books, getting paid, paying taxes, I was on
Wow.
like, I think it was 24K a year, and straight from
But
jail though,
legit?
literally legit, fully legit, like
Wow.
earning money in my bank. I had a brand new Audi at the time. And I was like, I was happy, man. I was up and I was back, and I was like, you know, at that point, it's when the belief system kicks back in again and it's reinforced. And it's like, yo, I told you. I said it to myself. When I got arrested, I said to everyone, this
Yeah.
sentence ain't taking me out. It's not going to finish me. I promise you that. I kept training. I stayed fit. I stayed in shape. I was in the gym training twice a day when I was in Loudon Grange. Then when I went to Sudbury, I was training in there. I did the courses. I did everything. I was to stay fit, stay ready, stay focused. So then when I was reintroduced back into
You're ready.
I was ready. And I wasn't
I mean,
just
you've
ready.
got unbelievable work ethic.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think you're incredibly mentally strong, but you've got such incredible work ethic. It's so easy to get downcast, isn't it, and depressed about
Yeah.
what's happening,
Of course.
and to let that derail you. And I think it's you're so emotionally intelligent. I'm sure you know that anyway.
Yeah.
But you know how to navigate people. You know how to build relationships and bonds.
Yeah, very important.
You know, and you're an empathic person. But and I think that is probably one of your greatest
traits.
Yeah, but it's an amazing thing because it's so natural. Not many people have that.
Yeah. I feel like the empath in me
Yeah,
comes from my mum as well.
yeah,
Her energy and her spirit has always cultivated that within my character, because she's
Yeah.
always cared about people.
yeah.
To this day.
You've seen
To
it
this
with your
day,
vanity
she
and-
does it. You know, one of her friends is going through a very tough time at the moment, and she's in rehab, and
Yeah.
she's trying to get herself out. Shout out to Naya Bengi, I love you for everything you're doing. I'm proud of you. And you should hear when my mum phones me about her, like, oh, Kane, you need to send Naomi a message, because, you know, she really looks up to you and she's proud of you, and your energy will motivate her, and da-da-da-da. Oh, Kane, we're going to see her today. And I could just tell how happy she is to help her friend.
Yeah.
Like, I still find it endearing within her character, and I feel like she has that in abundance, even to
It's
a
a
deeper
beautiful
level
thing.
than myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like the empathy for myself is that, and I feel like it is natural.
Yeah.
And I am a people's person. I actually love people. I love being around people. I love interacting with people. I
Yeah.
love speaking to young kids. I love, so, you know, it's a trait that I'm grateful for. And I believe that people should talk to people more.
We need to be more receptive to learning from to learn from each other.
100%.
Which is why, you know, these conversations are so important, because
100%.
I think that, you know, the thing that has always driven me most in life, or made me the most interested or the most engaged, is to connect with people and to learn with them. Like,
100%.
that's why I set up the podcast.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like whenever I've needed someone to pick me up, and I've got incredible friends and family.
Yeah.
I've listened to other people's stories, because I've not had a specific role model in my life.
Of course.
So to navigate through my life, and it's always been through learning from other people. And I'm really interested to know about what people have been through. Like, and I always say I never judge people.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a criteria for I only hang about with these types of people or whatever. I think it's really important to elevate yourself, and I think it's really important to be around people with really good energy. But I'm fascinated by how people start off their life and the things that they go through. I've been through a lot of horrible stuff in my life.
100%.
And, you know, and I look back and I think, well, okay, it was horrible, but it's made me who I am today. And I just think conversation is so important. But coming back to you, coming back into fighting and stuff. I mean, obviously, you've been through all this. You come out of jail. You started fighting again. What is it? Because you're doing so many amazing things, and I want to talk about Badder.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what you're doing there is amazing. I think it's incredible that you've come and you've kind of become this multifunctional. You're an entrepreneur. You're still fighting.
Yeah.
You know, you've got kids, you're raising a family. But on the fighting stuff, because I know that's your passion, are you still as passionate now as you were then about it?
Yeah, you know what? If I'm honest with you, I'll always be like passionate about fighting. I
Yeah.
just love it. But if you would say, am I as intensely hell-bent about focusing my full attention on nothing but fighting, I'd have to be honest to say no.
Yeah. What's changed?
Life, business, children, the only factors that have come into my situation that can change my dedication and my focus to something that I love heavily, which is MMA, which is fighting, can only be stuff like family and business that is like going to be something that is going to provide for my family.
Yeah.
And they're the only things that I allow to come in and kind of be any form of distraction or any form of factor that will take away from this. And they're still things of growth and elevation.
Well, that's what I mean. It's things that are elevating your life.
Oh, 100%.
Away from that. So I want to talk about Badder.
Yep.
Because it's amazing. First
Thank
of
you.
all, you know, for me, I think what you're creating is a legacy, right? And
100%.
it's there's loads of clothing brands out there. What makes Badder different?
Badder is different because of the meaning and the representation that it represents.
What does it mean?
It means be a dangerous rival. It means hold competitive spirit regardless of what walk of life you're in.
Yeah.
It means being a dangerous rival is that in life, sometimes what I've realized is that we're not always going to be number one.
Yeah.
We're not always going to be the best. But if we are not the best on number one, let number one or some of the best recognize that you're a real contender.
Right.
And that means that you've given all you can be and all you have to be a competitor and have fighting spirit. And I try and reiterate to people that it's not all just about, it's a fighter's brand because I'm a fighter. And when I say it's a fighter's brand, it represents a fighter's spirit. It's not just for fighters. The representation of our brand message and our meaning and purpose is to motivate and inspire other people to understand that no matter what walk of life you're in, if it's work, if you're in the workplace and you're working in a call center and you're in sales, be the best salesman or try to be the best salesman. Yeah?
Yeah.
Understand that it's competition.
Yeah.
If you're dating a girl who might be speaking to other guys and you really like her, what have you got to do? Step your game up. Do you get what I'm saying? Though you have got to, though. It's competition.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what is life. No matter what, some people shy from competition, but competition is everywhere, and competition will forever be a major part of our existence. And
It's healthy, isn't it?
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It's about doing it in a healthy way, and why not?
Of course it is.
You're right. We exist in a competitive
culture.
And
why should we not embrace it?
And why should we not elevate ourselves to be the best?
Elevate ourselves to be the best.
Yeah.
I think people are scared.
They are scared to
of
say
actually
it,
say
'cause it
I
sounds
want to be the
arrogant.
best. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. And even me myself, sometimes I kind of like, when people say, "Oh, he's showing off," I believe that it's different when people are showing people their wealth. I believe as long as your intention is to show people, to show them what they can actually achieve or what is out there, to show people this is potentially what you can have.
Yeah.
If this is what you want, because not everybody wants to have, not everybody wants to work their ass off. Some people just want to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They want to go home and they want to chill.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. If that's what you want as you set yourself and you
Yeah.
achieve that, you know what? You're successful. You're as successful as the man who's a multi-billionaire because he wanted to be a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
And that's what he set his goal to be.
Exactly.
My thing is not about necessary a capital amount of money. It's being able and having the facility to support my family and look after everybody and live a good enough lifestyle where nobody around me is
Wanting for anything. Yeah.
And especially not needing for anything.
I think that hunger, drive and determination probably comes from growing up and not having access to everything and having to hustle.
Not having nothing.
Because you've had nothing handed to you.
Except for a great home.
Love.
I've had love.
What I can see is you've had a beautiful foundation of love and respect, and you've been, you've got an amazing mum who's taught you compassion, generosity, and to want better for yourself. And I'm sure stuff from the stuff that you've done has massively disappointed her.
Of
But what's
course.
amazing is, no matter what you've been through, she's always been there.
And you know what?
And she's been your biggest supporter.
And you know what? She's been my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
And what fills me with joy, I will say contentment, because I would say that because I know she's proud of me.
Yeah.
But I know the type of woman she is. She wants me to do more because she wants me to be. I'm a boy.
I think she sees the potential in you.
Yeah, she sees the potential and she just wants me to fulfill it.
Yeah.
And that's why and not just one of but one of my other reasons for this relentless grit that I've got is because I know my mum sat there and I know my mum's pushing for me to get as much as that I can get out of this so that I can bring it back to the family and I can be happy with myself. But so that me and my family, I'm one of them. I kind of look at it as I've got a bit older, I'm kind of like, you know what? I feel like I don't even want to leave this country or leave my mum or my family. I feel like no matter how successful I get, people want to. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I want to travel to different countries and experience and maybe spend little stints in different countries. But I want to be home for my mum. I want to get her in shape. I want to make sure she's having a beautiful life. Yeah. You know, I'm going to live longer than my mum. Yeah. So why now at this grown age, her last bit of her existence in this world, that, you know, I want to make it amazing for her. Yeah. And I want to be there for her and I want to be with her. Do you get what I'm saying? I want to be with her. I don't want to leave her. I want to be with her. Do you get what I'm saying? So like I'm good, you know, and the brand is my vessel to be able to do that. And that's why Badr has got one of the strongest receptions that a brand has had in the industry within the space of time that we've been here.
I know.
So many people love the brand because you understand it's coming from an authentic place. Yeah. It's coming from a message of giving back. It's not just about taking and taking. I believe some brands that come out, or these fast fashion brands, they're just in it to get the money to go. Yeah. Get the money, go. Get the money, go.
So really what you're doing is you've created a movement.
A movement.
And you want people to believe in the philosophy, right? And be empowered. Because really what you're doing is empowering people. So you've catered for men. Yes. But you've are you developing a women's range? You're going to launch a women's range?
Well, we've been working very closely on developing a women's range at the moment. It's been in high demand. Yeah. I've had women to the point where I'm kind of like, if I don't give them a collection, I might not be safe anymore. I might get attacked.
You need to get one.
I might get kidnapped by the women. They might hold me hostage until Rob or some of the team launch a women's collection. But no, we're working on a women's collection. I'm trying to push the team to allow us to bring some kids stuff in there, just because I've got boys and it's with the brand. It's authentic. It's not us forcing another angle to think. It's what I want to give because the demand is there. People want Badr tracksuits for their little girls and boys to be wearing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I mean, I see big things to the brand.
100%.
Obviously. So your plan is to grow it?
Yes.
Expand it, leave a legacy?
Global recognition.
So who do you think that you're a role model for? I mean, I know, but I'm just curious for you. Okay.
You know, the great thing with social media is that you're able to speak to your audience and speak to the people that are your supporters. And I'd say everybody, if I'm being honest, because I was just on Hume High Street and I seen one of the olders, and he's probably like mid-50s now, and he was like, "Oh, Kane, man, I love everything you're doing. Listen, I've got a young sprinting team that I'm working with, and I'd love you to come and give to some of the sprinters. I know they've got deals with Adidas and this and that, but I still want you to come and support them and da-da-da-da." And that's an older man. Yeah. And then I get kids coming up to me saying, "Oh, Kane, I love you, your brand, I love you fighting," and whatever. So, you know, it's and then, you know, there's women. You know, I talk about my mum being a single parent. Yeah. And there's a lot of women out there who are single mothers. Yeah. And they see what can be achieved by a single mother. Yeah. Is a man like myself. And sometimes you have to talk your shit. And I will talk it because I know I'm a good person. I know that I'm a hard worker. I know that I'm dedicated, I'm disciplined, and I'm respectful. And all the qualities that I have, they come from my mother. So I'm also women as well who have got young boys that they might be afraid of how they're going to end up, because for a mother's love for their children,
You want
for
the
their
best for them, don't
boys,
you?
you can't mess with a mother's love for children in general. When a mum's got their little boy, it's their little boy, and they want them to be the best, and they want them to be a big, strong man who's going to respect them, and da-da-da-da. And I know that I am that person, so yeah, a wide range of people, I'd like to believe.
What is one of the things that you're most proudest of in terms of your own story and everything you've been through?
I'd say just overcoming the adversity. Just overcoming the adversity. There's not one particular thing. You could say body, you could say the career, you could say my children. I'm proud of all of them.
To be where you are now.
Just to be where I am now,
Yeah.
and be in the position that I am, and have the mentality that I've got, which is,
Because you've got this movie in your mind.
yeah.
Very clear. This is where I am, but this is where I could have been. Right, a million different things. Dead. In jail.
Lifed off.
This is what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could have just been somebody who never believed in himself. And that might not have been a jail or dead. That might have just been somebody. Now I know who I am and what I achieve. I'm grateful that I've had this mentality.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that as well, because sometimes the mentality that we have is something that's a blessing from God.
Well, you either, it either destroys you or it makes you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is solely down to you and how you. There are so many people that have been through traumatic stuff in their life, and it ruins them.
100%.
They can't get past it. They can't overcome it. And there are other people. It's not good or bad. It's just an observation. There are other people who utilize those experiences and just say, I'm never going to allow that to define me, or I'm going to make sure that that never happens to me again, or I'm going to. It's about mental fortitude. So
100%.
if anyone is watching this and they're struggling and going through a hard time, you've been through it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What advice would you give them? What would you say?
I'd say just believe, be patient, understand that there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes others longer to get there.
Yeah.
But as long as you can always believe it, you might not feel like it's there at the moment. Just believe that you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
And just believe that it's going to be okay one day. And just kind of find yourself a little goal.
Little goal.
A little goal. Doesn't have to be anything big. A small goal. It might be going on a walk a few times a week. It might be reading a book. It might be watching a podcast of somebody that can inspire you.
Yeah.
It might even be something as little as changing your nutrition, getting some more sleep, things like that, interacting with people, being open. There's many little incremental steps that we can do, things that we can do to kind of change the direction of where we're going and change the momentum in life that we're feeling. And it's kind of just believing that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it gets, and trust me, believe me, I know it gets hard. It gets really tough. But persevere, and just get up and go. And just try your hardest to get up and go. And when I say get up and go, it's like you could be sat there and you've been in your chair you get up, you have something to eat, you sit in your chair and you watch TV all day. You might smoke a spliff, or you might smoke a cigarette, or you might drink a beer. You might do none of it. You might just sit there and not do anything, but you don't feel motivated.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes it's just as simple as knowing what you're going to do. Like, okay, I'm going to go to the shop and I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And you got to do, just get up.
Yeah.
Just get up.
Yes, I know.
And just go. So.
Yeah, because it's a cliche, but time is a healer.
Of course it is.
And when I look back over my life and I think of some of the darkest moments that, by the way, people wouldn't have known, but that I've been through, and only the people that were closest to me that have known and been there for me and held me up.
Yeah.
Because we're all good at putting faces on, aren't we, and getting to the day. And I look back and I think of some of those times, and I thought, there were days where I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through the day mentally, because the situation that I'm going through just seems so overwhelming for me. And then to come out the other side of that, people would say to me, it's going to be okay, it's just time. And time is a great healer. But in those moments, I didn't just sit there and wallow. I did get up And I did scary things like this podcast. I wanted to do it for years.
Okay.
And I've put it off because deep down I've been scared. I've been scared to put myself out there and then be judged and not be good enough. Or in my head I'm thinking, if this is going to be a podcast I'm going to do, it needs to be the number one podcast on Apple.
Yeah.
You know, or I need to have like all these people on it. And then I went through a really challenging time last year, probably one of the lowest points in my life, but on the surface no one would have known. And I was having a day and I just thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through today. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I always do. What is the thing that I least want to do or at least feel capable of doing in this moment? And I thought, I feel the least capable of doing this podcast. I thought, I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And I tell you something, I did it. I set all the wheels in motion, I did it. And I've realised now that having the capacity to do those things are the things that turn your life around.
Of course.
And elevate your life in a different direction. So I always say when you're going through this shit, sit down and say to yourself, what are all the things I don't want to do? Because those are all the things that if you do those things or you start doing them, that's what's going to change things around.
That's what's going to change things around. And
Yeah.
I'd just like to say congratulations to yourself because I wasn't aware of that. Do you know what I mean? So for people watching this podcast as well, they can actually be reassured that the person that's taking the podcast and whose podcast it is actually someone who's fought through adversity themselves. And
Oh, people might look at me, might look at you. Maybe your story is because yours is much more public, right? So people may look at me and think, oh, you know, she's really successful and this and the other. That's fine because that's an external thing. And by the way, that's not come easy.
of course.
That is years and years of hard work and blood, sweat and tears and taking time away from my kids and whatever. But on a personal level, I'm a very private person and I have a very small circle of friends and I'm very close to my family. And so, you know, and I do want to use this podcast as a platform more to talk about some of the stuff that I've been through. I've been through some horrible stuff in my life that I've never really properly spoken about outside of my inner circle.
Yes.
But as a result of all of those things, I know what it's allowed me to be more compassionate, more loving, not judgmental,
Yes.
more self-aware about my own insecurities and my own issues and being honest enough to say, I'm insecure, you know, I lack self-worth. I know that my driver for success has been for the longest time in my life hugely built on insecurity, a need to want to prove my worthiness.
Worthiness, yeah.
Yeah, I needed the big car and I needed the big house. In my head, I'm thinking, but this is the fruits of my labor. No, if I really examine my motivation, it's because I felt when I had those things, I would feel better about myself as a person, right? And the truth of the matter is, I get incredible joy from having a beautiful house and having a beautiful car, but it doesn't fill me up. It doesn't nourish me.
It doesn't.
No, and I see it for what it is now. So I'm proud of it, but I also understand that does not define me as a person or define anyone. And it makes me laugh sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, all this time you're taking yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you know, what's important in life. I went away, I was away for a week last year, just with me and my little boy.
Yeah.
Away from work, and I just thought, you know what, I haven't been living. I spend so much time working or thinking about the next step or thinking about where I should be that I've stopped to some extent living my life and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I sat on a beach for a week and I had a moment and I sat on the waves and I had a cry. And I thought, you know what, I think I'm living. But, you know, sometimes when you get stuck in situations and it sucks the life out of you and you're used to grinding and going through the grind. Because I have that mentality. I can go through the mill and totally deplete myself to make something work. But you know what? You have to be brave in life to go, this isn't working for me and I can't do this anymore.
100%.
And you just have to live. And I always say, okay, Kane, if you had 6 months to live, the great thing is I said to myself, if I was going to die in 6 months, what would I actually change about my life? And the great thing is I wouldn't change what I do.
No.
I wouldn't change the people that I surround myself with.
Okay.
I'm proud of the decisions I've made. I'm not saying that I wouldn't change everything. I love my children, but what I would do is I would spend more time being kinder to myself.
Yes.
Reaping a bit more for the fruits of my labour, as in going away a bit more, spending a bit more time enjoying myself. You know what I mean? That's the only things I would change. So that was quite a proud moment for me because I was like, well, I must be doing a lot of things right.
100%. But like you said, it's been through a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Through a lot of insecurities that have pushed you through. But the great thing is that you've been self-aware.
I only developed self-awareness though when I got to a point in my life where I was like, I feel I'm on a hamster wheel. Like I really I can't keep feeling like this because nothing is filling it. Nothing is filling the hole.
Yeah.
And I need to understand what's really going on for me.
Voids.
And I had to look inside. You know, we all get in that pattern. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been there. Maybe you haven't, but I used to spend a lot of my early 20s or like really blaming, oh God, if that hadn't happened to me and if I hadn't been through that and it wouldn't be. And I just thought, you know what? There came a point, I turned 30 and I was like, it was after having Rafi, actually, my eldest, Rafi's 12. Having Rafi changed my life.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what? I've got a responsibility to level up mentally because I want to be the best parent that I can be for this little boy. And I remember how it started was I started seeing a life coach. I was like, I'm not going to therapy. I don't need therapy. I thought that was a bit, you know, but I started seeing a life coach. And so someone then went through stuff and I started looking inwardly. And it wasn't about blaming people or what I've been through. It's about looking at myself and going, okay, but how am I using this to benefit myself? And how it was working was I was using it as fuel to drive my ambition, to work hard, to, you know, to be successful. But how it was hurting me was it was fueling more of my anxiety, my lack of self-worth, because then I made it about everything I have to achieve and not making it about me. And I know what my triggers are now. I know I know when I'm feeling insecure. I know if I'm walking into a room and people think I'm confident, but I might feel insecure. I might feel intimidated by somebody. Because I grew up in a culture where regardless of what was said to you by anybody, even if it was wrong, you had to accept it. So I never learned to really speak up for myself until it got to a point where I couldn't cope anymore, and then it came out as anger. You know what I mean? I didn't learn how to express myself in a way to go, no, I'm not happy with that, and that's not okay with me. I had no boundaries of what people could do and not do to me.
When did you actually find that place when you were in a position where you felt like...
Honestly, in my 30s.
Okay.
It took me all that time. I've sometimes even now will struggle to say no to people.
And that's, you know what, that's a very valid point that you're saying, is because I feel like for me, I was at a point where I'd be like that sometimes, you know, when you feel like people are kind of, let's just be honest, people are taking the piss.
Yeah.
You know, and they might be friends, might be close ones to you, and you kind of like, you should put your foot down a lot sooner, but you allow them to go over the top and violate you to a degree. But sometimes they might not actually be aware. It's something that they might just do without even, but there is some vindictive people who know exactly what they're doing. But I feel like that is a very, very great place to find yourself in, when you can actually put your foot down and say, no.
Yeah, you have to have boundaries.
I'm not having that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at as a person.
Yeah.
I now refuse to have people around me who don't fly straight. Forget about the intricacies.
Yeah.
If you don't fly straight, we're men, we know, and we're people, we know. We're grown. We're grown now. You're not 18, 15, 16. You're 30. When you're 30s, 35s, I know we're always learning.
Yeah.
But you do have a solid understanding of fundamental values.
And right and wrong.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, right and wrong, fundamental values. Because with men, there's certain values, there's certain... If you ain't flying straight, don't come around me. And it's that simple. Because even if you ain't flying straight with me, I mean, even if you're flying straight with me, you're not flying straight with somebody else, it might only be a matter of time before you don't fly straight with myself. And I don't like people who don't fly straight will fly straight with someone based on their position, their status, their thingy, but won't act right with somebody else. And I don't respect that same way as well. Yeah. And I refuse to have people around me who I know are not moving correct.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to observe what people say and also watch their actions to see if they match up.
Match up, 100%.
And, you know, that for me, you know, you talk a lot about stepping back and observing.
Yeah.
That's where I've become so much more observational about people, is what they're saying matching up with what they're doing. Because if it doesn't match up, I know I can't trust you, and I know 100%. That you're not right for me.
Yeah.
The other thing I look at is who I share my energy with.
Yeah, very important.
You know, I'm a lover. I love people, and I've got time, and I'm a very compassionate, kind person. And sometimes that gets me into trouble because I'll overextend myself, and it's been very difficult for me to say I had to put myself on a 3-month ban of helping people out financially. Okay. Because when I see people in distress or trouble, I know one of the easiest things I can do, I'm not talking about loads of money, is help their financial situation. And I found myself being too eager to say, let me do that and fix it. And that causes problems. Then I had to have a 3-month ban. I was like, I can't do that for friends or family, for anybody, because you know what? That actually harms the dynamic sometimes
Of course it does.
of the relationship. But the biggest thing for me was really understanding I had to really build up my self-worth. And by that, what I mean is valuing myself as a person, as a human being, because everything that I'd been doing was about building up this external version of who I am. But on the inside, I felt like I was a piece of shit.
So you was hollow.
Hollow. And as a result of that, I was allowing people, behavior, situations in my life that, you know what, I didn't deserve. And I had to work on my self-worth. And what naturally has started to happen is, actually what I realised was, no, actually, you know what, Henna, you've built an amazing circle of family and friends. But then there's other people that I just had to cut out of my life. And I love them and I wish them the best. But I know that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it was killing me. It was holding me back. You have one life.
Of course.
And I have a responsibility to live it, but I also have a responsibility not only to live it for myself, but to be the best example possible for my children.
100%.
So that they understand what their boundaries are. When they see me accepting certain things, that is them. That is me creating a pathway for them to go. It's going to be for them to think it's okay for me to treat people like shit or to be treated like shit. And I don't want that.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
I really want them to have this wholesome, real belief. And I do affirmations, which is, I do affirmations with them all the time. I make them repeat, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm worthy, I'm enough. So I never heard that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I grew up in such a loving family, but positive affirmation was not part of how I was raised. It was about constructive criticism.
Okay.
So I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I'll never allow myself to go, you did a really good job there. I'll be like, we could have done that better. Whereas for my children, I want them to feel a sense of, I don't care what they do. I want them to feel an inherent sense of worthiness, because I know what it is like to not have that, and it is debilitating as a human being. But I don't feel like you've had that. I feel like you've had nurturing from your mum in a beautiful way.
I feel like there was a part where we were talking about, and that shows that we're very tuned into what's been going on in the conversations that we're having. There was a part when I said about people who are jealous.
Yeah.
And the reason why sometimes I'm not quick to jump on everybody about things, because everyone's existence is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's family. You got friends who grow up in a certain household, certain religions, certain types, certain people, certain cultures.
Yeah.
Everyone could be Christians in this country, but the culture is different. You can be Muslims in this country, but the culture is different. You can be atheists, whatever it is. You can have families who are Jehovah's Witness, and it affects people. There's so many different circumstances that can affect the way a person is.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it's about the journey of self-discovery that allows you then to understand who you truly are. And once you get to that point, that is an actual time in your life where you actually feel wholesome.
Yeah.
And that's when you're feeling good about yourself. And I kind of encourage people to kind of go on a path of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Because not always, sometimes I feel stressed is when I feel like all the situations that go on are taken away from who I am.
Yeah.
And I know there's change that happens because I'm 35 now, I'm mature, man, so I might be changed. I might not be as lively, as bubbly, as whatever. I might be a bit more mature, a little bit more tamed. But I know who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And I know what my belief system, my work ethic, and once I feel that being shaken, I realize that something's going on.
Yeah.
Something's going on, something's not right, and then I'll go into myself and I'll identify. And that's what I'm saying to people is it's kind of like you need to understand who you are as a person, because once you understand who you are, you can then identify if something's right or wrong within your situation a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, you would go through the run of the mill.
Yeah.
You would grind yourself down to the ground.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even probably stop to think, well, what, you're just like, nah, this is me. I'm going to go, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. And then when you said to me, you got to the point where you're like, whoa, I'm going to start living for me. I'm going to start putting my foot down. Now you're a lot more aware of what's actually going on within yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a great place to be at. And I would encourage a lot of people to kind of find that within themselves because, like I said, once you find it, it's an amazing place to be.
You know what you learn is the moment your life changes is when you realise you can't control anything anyone else does. You have no control over it.
100%.
So you can spend your whole life manipulating or crying about this or arguing about that. You can never change how somebody feels, thinks or behaves.
Yep.
The only thing you have control over is the decisions you make for your own life.
Yep.
So if you are unhappy about a situation and you are still in it, that is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility, it's nobody else's. And like you're saying, there would have been times where you was blaming other situations or other things or other people, and sometimes it's like, no,
Listen,
look
it takes two people to create a situation.
100%.
I'm not saying that the way somebody treats you is okay or whatever, it's not. But at the end, if you choose to stay in it, and you choose to accept it, then at the end of the day, you are as responsible for that as the other person. 100%. So the only responsibility you have to yourself is to find a way, a means to get out and separate yourself from that.
And change the dynamic.
That is the only way your life's going to change. 100%. Otherwise, you will stay stuck.
100%.
So it's about the people you surround yourself with.
Yes.
And having such a strong foundation, right? And if you want to level up in life, level up your social circle.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I'm not talking about you change your friends that you grew up with, but you know what? Level up on a business level. Network. Make sure you're mixing with and talking to people that are elevated and are going to elevate you, because what they're going to show you is what is possible in life.
Impossible.
Beyond the, the restraints of your social circle or how or your family or people telling you, oh, be careful, be conservative and whatever. I remember when I left law, my dad pushed us from a very young age into education. It was the greatest gift he gave us. And I remember from the age of, God knows, 11, we'd come home from school and we'd have to do an hour of English and an hour of maths every day.
Yeah.
And I got my first job at 12. I used to work on the market in Bury.
Wow.
At 12 years old, I went to go and found myself a job on a Saturday at 12 and earned £10 a week.
Wow.
So, and no one did it for me. I did it for myself. And I got the work ethic. Come rain, sun, shine, whatever it was, freezing snow, I was out there working on this little market stall. Yeah.
Nah, impressive.
And so I've always had to work hard, and I've always had it. If I've got to go out, everything that I have made or built in my life is down to me. No one has handed me anything or given me anything, right?
You got up and got it done yourself.
You have to. And at the end of the day, if I'm not where I want to be in my life, because I've got greater ambitions, then that's on me. So I have to level up, and I have to say to myself, what is it about you that you're believing about yourself which is preventing you from getting to the next step of your life? Because we all reach that ceiling.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not comfortable where I am. I want to do bigger and I want to do better.
You just said my question then. I literally waiting to say to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where you are now?
So for me, it's really interesting because I feel like sometimes a sense of frustration.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be way further than I am.
Okay.
And then I have to check myself and go, there's so many people that look at you and think, well, you've done amazing things. And I have. And that's because I don't give myself enough credit. But what drives me, what spurs me on in life, is for me, the biggest thing that I want to be able to do is to help people and change people's lives. And believe it or not, I really feel the fundamental part of that is having access to money.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like you can change people's life through education and through money.
Yeah,
but fundamentally, if you've got money,
100%,
you can change people's lives on a much bigger scale.
100%.
And that's what I want to do. It's not about having all the fancy things and doing all that. That stuff's nice.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of it. For me, I want to do it because I want to really, really give back. I want to create a legacy. And I've told my kids, Rafi always says to me, he's 12, I can do this thing on the internet and it brings up somebody's net worth. It's ridiculous. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. He's like, Mum, when you die, you're going to leave me millions of pounds. And I was like, what? And I was like, Rafi, I'll tell you what I'm going to get you. You and your brother are going to get a house each. And that's all you're getting from me. That's and I'm paying for your education. That is all you are getting in life.
Yep.
The money that I earn, I'm going to spend it on myself and I'm going to enjoy my life.
Yes.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to help other people. But if you think you're getting any handouts from me, is not happening.
Yeah. Would you say if, say, for instance, Rafi now, so he's took all your advice, he's learning his education, he's working, he's trying to find himself a lane, and he's really passionate about it, might be becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He might be becoming an entrepreneur, and he's worked and he's got good credit and whatever, but he might come to you and say, Mum, listen, I need some capital investment. I need some investment. I need some to get this idea that I've got off the ground. Is that something then you would support him with financially to help him? Because
Yeah.
I'd say he's showing you his work ethic, his dedication, his focus, and he's not just saying, Mum, I want some money so I can go buy a car, and I want to go out and spend money and look like I'm the guy on clothes and
Do you know what
whatever.
he'd have to do, Kane? He'd have to pitch me.
Okay, fair.
You'd have to pitch me. You'd have to build it. You'd have to show me a plan.
Respect.
You'd have to show me his idea. You'd have to show me what he's done.
Respect.
And you'd have to present it all to me. And of course, he's my son, and I would want to support him. But fundamentally, he would have to go through a process with me.
Of course, 100%. Yeah,
but of course I would. Look, at the
Respect.
end of the day, everything that we do is for our kids.
Of course.
Whether I'm going to leave him stuff, of course.
Of course.
My point to him is this: don't think because you have an easy
you're
life
getting the
that you're going to get.
handout.
No.
It's not happening. The same with my kids. It's not happening.
No.
And I can't wait for these guys, my little gremlins. I can't wait for them, right, to start getting to the point where we have full-on conversations and we have an understanding. I'm not at that point with them yet because they're only 3. So I can't speak to them properly yet. Maybe Akirimi, because he's just on a whole nother wave of his understanding, because his mum just continuously talks to him like he's a 20-year-old man or something, whatever he is.
I love that though.
Yeah.
We don't give kids enough credit.
He's super advanced. He knows exactly what's going on, and that's not just me saying it.
Yeah.
Whereas the twins, because they've got each other,
Yeah.
they talk to each other.
Yeah.
So they've got their own little body language and little things that they say. So they're not really too bothered about what everybody else is saying. They know they've got themselves. But Akirimi is at home all the time with me a lot more. So, but I can't wait till I get to the point with them and I can sit them down and say, right, this is what life is about.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I can't wait to teach them the values. Can't wait to teach them the values, all the values. I feel like values are the first thing before anything else.
What would you say your top values are?
Respect.
Respect for other people? Or for
Respect
yourself?
for other people and for yourself. Love people.
Yeah.
And an air of caution.
Streetwise.
Just always be cautious, because not everybody is who they say they are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come with a mask on,
Yeah.
with ulterior motives, and for them to be cautious, but be very family orientated, family over
Family's
everything.
Yeah.
And be loyalty to your friends, loyal to your partner if you're in a relationship. Just be loyal, unless, especially with women, you'll teach them about women as well. And I tell them, you're going to be young, you're going to meet girls and whatever, and you might not find the right one. Don't try and hold on to something if it's not the right thing, or try and stick with something, try and persevere and figure things out. I can't wait to give them the advice.
Maybe it's the advice that you feel like you never got from your dad.
I didn't get any. And obviously there's only certain advice that my mum can give me, because, at the end of the day, like you said, everything was a different age. The access that we've got to the internet, education, podcasts like this, education, people can educate themselves of other people in elevated situations and learn values from them and educate themselves on values from other people. So it's a totally different world that we live in now. And our children are going to enter into a world where there's a lot of education, there's a lot of knowledge, and there's a lot more than what happened with for our parents and our grandparents. So yeah, I can't wait to teach them the values and just show them that, look, this is the Mousah way. This is the Kane Mousah way.
I love it.
And you guys are going to follow the lead until you get your own identities and start making your own decisions. But as long as you have the right values, then whatever you guys want to do, wherever you want to go, however you want to act, as long as you run off the same values, Daddy's going to be happy.
Okay. All right, so to finish off then.
Yep.
In life.
Yes.
How would you wish to be remembered?
As somebody who stood for being true. I'm being being a person who wanted to see others do well.
Yeah.
A person who loved to motivate and inspire, and a person who was focused, dedicated, and somebody who was all about the people.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's me. I'm all about the people. I love the people, man. I love helping other people. I love motivating other people. I love being around my family. I love my kids. I love people. I love being around. I love here. I could sit here with you for another 2-3 hours, whatever, and talk and have chats about life. And that's who it is. I'm a people, and that's why I say the brand is a brand made by the people for the people.
Is that not your tagline? By the people for the people.
Well, we've got a few. We've got Badar. Be a dangerous rival all day, every day. Competitive spirit, made by a brand made by the people for the people.
But it's a movement, isn't it?
It's a movement, and there's so many values that the brand represents, and so
I love it. Oh, it's been so nice
I've
having you on.
enjoyed it so much.
I could talk for hours here, but you're an amazing person.
Thank you, and yourself.
Thank you so much for being on.
And I appreciate you for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Let's have a hug. Let's
have a hug. Hi guys, thank you so much for being on the Rise journey with me, Henna Riaz. This podcast has been brought to you by Marylebone Publishing. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Rise with Henna.